Oh, cool. Okay, we're live. And I can share a screen. That's fun. All right, let's get TikTok going here. Managing moderators can support your channel. Okay, so we can get you in as a moderator. Let's see here. Each user's input. In addition, they can manage blocked words, change, close. All right. Well, we'll just hang out here while some folks start coming in. Welcome, everybody. We are just chilling, just having a freelancer hang sesh here and get it going on TikTok too. Live. Yeah, let me know where you guys are coming in from. Where's everybody? Where is everybody right now? And what time is it where you're at? It is noon, like 12:05 here in LA. Let's see here. Can I go live here? Welcome in. All right, we are live on TikTok now too. Well, this is fun. So we've got YouTube live going. We've got TikTok live going. We're just going to be chatting about I don't know what we're up to in our businesses for a little while. Let's see. We've got India in the house. We've got Pakistan in the house. We've got Norway in the house. Some people are starting to come in on TikTok. Guys, let me know where you're coming in from and what time it is where you are. It's 12:06 in LA right now. And to catch TikTok up on it, I would just told YouTube's over here, TikTok's over there. Just told YouTube what we're doing here. We're just having a good old fashioned hang sesh. Like we're just going to chat about our businesses and our goals and stuff. So, I'm also, this is the first or second time I've gone live on YouTube. So I'm kind of figuring out YouTube's live AI here as well. So that's what we're doing. Let's see if I can mess with this here. Cool. I was reading this morning a headline about, I think it's like two different articles came out today about how how difficult 9-to-5s are. Getting hired at a 9-to-5 is right now, and it's been. Sorry, I just wanted to check this real quick. How do we get this to be on? Oops, that's not that. Desk view, not what I want. I guess it doesn't matter. How do we do overlay for breaks? Bear with me, guys. This will be real quick. I just wanted to check something on the YouTube stream here. I'll Google it. And interesting. I don't think there's a way to change this. If I don't have access to this feature, well, that's not helpful. Channel live settings. I feel like it should be in here, but this is, oh well. Oh well. We'll just keep at it. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, we were talking about a article that I read this morning, or two different articles I read this morning about how tricky it's been to land a 9-to-5 gig. I commented on both of them that it's a very it's a very validating time to be a freelancer. It's at least I've never been more grateful than I am now that I'm building something on my own, and then so we don't have to deal with that BS. And I was talking to Courtney a few days ago about kind of reminiscing about the first time, because I had a 9 to 5 in 2011. I worked in a cubicle for 3 months. It was the only time that well, I mean, there were a few sporadic kind of like longer term freelancing gigs where I worked in an office, but that was an official salaried 9 to 5. And I lasted 3 months, and it was my boss's boss took me out to dinner on month 3 and offered me a promotion. I was 22 at the time, and I just said, I think I'm gonna hop in a car and drive to LA and get in the film and TV world. And he leaned back and kind of said, okay, well, let's spend the rest of this dinner talking about that then. And that was the beginning of this freelancing journey as we know it. I mean, I'd been freelancing since I was 17. It was actually kind of odd, I think, to any outside observers that I would not immediately go into freelance out of, after college. I went to a cubicle, but yeah, that's all it took to confirm that was, what I wanted. All right, let's talk about you guys though. How about let's do this for the people just coming in. We got TikTok over here, we got YouTube over here. Let's go through the chat and talk about like what it is you're up to. Let's keep it practical, like what it is you're up to this week, and what you're solving for, and what what the objective is for the rest of this year, because we only got a couple months left here, and this is where things usually get kind of interesting from a business growth standpoint. And also, if you're here, engage with this live somehow, like or comment or something, so that more people can get sent this way, so we can try and help as many businesses as we can in the next 30-40 minutes or something. Let's start over here on YouTube. Let's see what we've got. Ask me any questions you have. I'm just reading through here. Sorry, I'm getting caught up on the chat here. Okay, so this is from Anani Fungi. So hi from Kentucky. Awesome, first off. Big fan of all your products. I just watched your masterclass. You're mostly talking about creative outlets. Do you have any tips about service-based freelancing like IT? Yeah, I mean, anything that I have to say about a creative business, right? Or like, I think a lot of people assume that I'm only talking to creative freelancers when I'm giving advice. And it's across the board. It's going to work for a service business. I mean, if you solve a problem with a service, not with a product, but with a service, essentially you're in the same business as a graphic designer or as a photographer or videographer, right? I mean, we're all in a people business, and essentially what we're doing is we're trading dollars for solutions to one of the 3 following problems: more money, more time, or less risk, right? So the question specifically was like, like the IT industry, right? How do you translate your service to one of those 3 ROIs, returns on investment? More money. So that's, you're saving them money or gaining them money with your solution. So either you're helping them make more money with tech, or you're helping them save more money with tech. More time, with tech, you're helping their client or their employees dedicate less time to the minutia, less time to the busy work. Or in the third, ROI column is less risk. And obviously for you, in the IT world, that's less, hey, with this solution, there's less of a chance that this whole system is going to black out on you, or insert your, I'm not in your industry, but insert your risky scenario here, right? And that's true for everybody. That's true for people people in any service-based business. I might as well have just been talking to a photographer or a videographer with that answer, right? That's what's really fun about this stuff and that's why we purposefully don't talk about what I do in a lot of this content, because I don't want to give people like you the out. I don't want to give someone in IT the out to be like, well, this only works for videographers or video producers, right? That's what I came up in, because it doesn't. It works for everybody. Let's see here. Let's go to the TikTok chat here. Wow, I've missed a lot. I really wish that TikTok would have like a question sticker, like what Instagram has. Let's take this one. So this is from Digital Boy. It says, "Hi man, what design fields are highly demanded on Upwork and Fiverr?" So let's talk about job markets, guys. Upwork and Fiverr being the kind of the biggest, most well-known ones, but obviously there are dozens, if not hundreds, of these markets for every niche. There are kind of the big ones like freelancer.com and stuff that keep it broad, but then like specific job markets for just wedding vendors or just, tech solutions or just, what have you. Across the board, you don't want to be optimizing your business for a job market. So the question was, what design field is in high demand on Upwork or Fiverr? And I have beef with the premise of that question. First and foremost, because I have several beefs. So let's take these in order. But let's take the big one first. Is if Fiverr or Upwork decide tomorrow that they want to start taking 60% commission, and you've built your business on the foundation of that platform, your business is forever. You're going to take a major hit, right? It's very risky. It's very you're building your castle on rented land if you're building a business on these platforms. There's nothing wrong with these platforms. I've engaged with the people that run these platforms. By all I can see, they're good-hearted individuals that truly want creatives to succeed. And you can use them to make some money, but really you want them to be, you want them to account for like 10 to 15% of your lead generation. You don't want them, you don't want them to be responsible for anything more than that, because then you've set yourself up for a risky situation where their algorithm could change next week and suddenly you're not getting put in front of as many jobs as you want, or they decide to throttle this particular service and your service is no longer really getting the love on the platform, or list any number of scenarios like that. Ultimately, the exchange that's happening on these job platforms between you and Fiverr or Upwork is that with the commission they pull out of your job, you are renting their lead generation engine. So, you are renting the effort that they have put into putting a client in front of you. So you're renting, all the branding and the ads that they've put out, and, the kind of the enterprise level stuff that they're doing to get clients onto the platform. And my argument is, rather than rent that from a job market, how about you build that yourself, right? Build your own lead generation engine, so that you're creating a significant amount of predictable leads monthly, as opposed to relying on somebody else to do it for you. Because I think that is the ultimate benefit of freelancing, is the agency of having complete and total say over your destiny, right? And when you build a job based on, or when you build an offer or a company based on somebody else's lead generation efforts, you're taking yourself out of a big part of that process. So I would say, rather than optimize for what works right now on Upwork and Fiverr, that was my second beef with the question, is the right now part. What's in high demand right now. It's, I mean, you don't want to be chasing what the market is in demand of. You want to be chasing, the biggest, most urgent problem that you can solve with what you do. But yeah, I would say, rather than chase after that, pick a very specific, urgent, painful problem that you can solve with what you do, and go build your own lead generation engine. And of course, use Fiverr and Upwork for it's a sprint for, if you want to make a quick buck, this month, next month. That's what it's there for. All right, let's go to YouTube for a question. Let's see here. Oh man, guys, you got lots of questions. This is exciting. Okay, let's see, where did we leave off? We were talking about, it was the Kentucky Boys question, or woman, I don't know. It's a cartoon character. Okay. Jane from Ghana just said, "What's up, Ghana?" I think we got lots of countries represented. This is very exciting. Mohammed says, "I'm new here. Can you please introduce yourself?" Sure. Hey, I'm Jamie. I have been freelancing for almost 17 years now. Came up in the video production space. This year, we shut that agency down and we opened up a social media strategy firm. But for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been giving advice to my fellow practitioners on the internet, and our community is about 700,000 freelancers strong across all social media. And I am the founder of the Freelancing program, where we help over 1,000 freelancers every day build scalable, sustainable businesses. That's a day job that I'm very happy to have. So yeah, that's me. Let's see here. Let's pick a question from YouTube. Okay, this person just said, "I have a question," but didn't put the question. Put the question that you guys have here. All right, JM says, "Yo, what industry do you think recession-proof, with the attention of targeting for clients and specializing in that industry?" Okay, so asking about recession-proof industries: healthcare, wealth transfer lawyers, blue-collar services. These are the suggestions that JM's asking. My answer to this question is a little bit of a cheat. I think that any industry is recession proof, provided you, the freelancer, are doing the work of identifying new problems that need solved in this existing market, right? So say you're working for a restaurant, right? You're a designer. I'm just making this up, like a designer working for a restaurant, or working for the restaurant industry. Come recession time, people have less expendable income. They're not coming out to the restaurant as much. So do you think now, if business is the exchange of money for solutions, would you say that your restaurant industry clients have more or less problems to solve in this situation? The answer is more, right? Like objectively more problems that they're solving for. One of those problems being they don't have as much money. So you, as the strategic partner, get to now workshop solutions for them and solve those problems, right? So if you go to every restaurant owner and say, "Hey, I think I've figured out a way to optimize for ticket value per table using menu design, that you only have to pay for once, and then there's like a small retainer on the tail end of it. So or there's a small retainer after the initial project is done. It's they'll jump at that because it's a cheaper way to solve the problem that they're trying to solve, right? And you're like, hey, and I'm going to come in and split test menu designs every month. I use that as an example in a video that we posted on YouTube recently. So it's really about playing the game of entrepreneurship, less than picking a recession-proof niche. Now, are there, there are commodities that people will always need. I mean, if you want, you can pick something like that, right? But really, it's like, we're splitting hairs at that point. Like, you should feel comfortable choosing any industry that you have a lot of network in or a lot of examples of work in, and like planting your flag in that niche, regardless of if they're recession proof or not, knowing that you are recession proof, right? You're the thing that decides, how you make it through the recession. So I entered the workforce like after college. It was 2011. Not a great economy. The banks had done their thing. This was, just barely post bailout. And, but, in that environment, I doubled what I was making, in like 2.5, 3 years, just based on that principle where it's like, okay, well, what are some offers that I can develop that really take advantage of economies of scale, and, maybe a client pays more upfront than they're used to paying for this, but then they don't have to pay beyond that, so it's kind of like the Costco model where, like, you go into Costco and you buy $200 worth of paper towels. But when you do the math, it's like, well, you've really actually saved money, and so that was kind of how I approached it with my clients. So I don't know if that's a cheat answer, but those are my thoughts on recession-proof businesses. Let's see here. Let's go to TikTok for a question. Everybody, I'm just gonna refresh this. Everybody that's here right now, give me hit the little heart or comment where you're from, something, some piece of engagement, so that we can push this out to even more freelancers that would benefit from the stuff we're talking about today. Okay, let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. Just started learning Touch Designer. I'm pretty good in Adobe Suite, but still no freelance work. So just getting started. Let's talk about that, guys. Like when you're just, like literally fresh out the gate, getting started freelancing. What are the levers that you pull to really set yourself up for success? First, you should check out this video. This came from TikTok. You should come over here to YouTube, and I have a hour-long video about this on YouTube called "Start Freelancing in 7 Days." And I'm probably going to just be going over some of that in this answer. But basically, step one is choose a very specific problem to solve for a very specific person. That's called, offer and niche. The problem is the solution is your offer. The person is your niche. And, doing those two things is going to make marketing and sales like a literal piece of cake. Like if you were just a designer, you're going to have a tough road ahead, because, who do you go to? Like, who do you market to? How do you convert them on working with you? If it's just like, yeah, I make stuff. Does anybody need anything made? That's me. I'm the person that makes stuff. Like, you're just a commodity at that point. So, but if you were like, hey, I use design to increase conversions of landing pages by up to 35% in the first 40 days, now you know who to go to, or get even more specific, landing pages for direct to customer CPG products, right? So now you can go on LinkedIn Sales Navigator and run 200 searches, or send 200 connection requests to the owners of, direct to consumer CPG products. You can join groups, that attract marketing, heads of marketing for CPG products, like XYZ. So offer a niche first, then create some examples of that problem that you solve for that niche, because you want them to be able to imagine what the end result of working with you looks like. And then send those examples out to literally every man, woman, and child that you've ever met and exchanged information with. Because it is, without a doubt, your first paid job is going to come from within your network. Somebody, who's helping you out. Or somebody who knows somebody that has that problem that wants to work with you to solve that problem. So those would be the first, like the three easiest looks if you're just getting started. To recap: offer a niche, specific, painful, urgent problem to solve for a specific individual who urgently needs it solved. And then, so that was one, offer a niche, and then make examples of your work, a portfolio of that solution. And then the third one is tell everybody that you know about it. And between those three, you should start seeing some work. And then it just works from there. Like, that person will refer you to somebody else. That person will know three people, and one of those people will work with you. So you start kind of building a little traction there. So let's go back to YouTube for the next question here. Let's see here. Let's just go to the bottom here. Oh, Alice says, "Hi, Jamie. I love your course, and it helped me a lot." That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad so many people in the freelancing program have been reaching out lately. It's been fun to watch. What is a reliable platform to find freelancers to subcontract to? I want to say yes to everyone project like you taught. Yeah, okay. So it's something that we talk about in the freelancing program, is finding a way to say yes to everything, right? Because if a client comes to you and they're too busy, and you're too busy, and you say, "No, I'm too busy. Sorry, go find someone else." You're not just saying no to that project. You're saying no to every project that client could have brought your business over the course of the next decade. So you want to find a way to get, if somebody comes to you asking for help, you want to get them into your ecosystem. And one of the ways you can do that is to subcontract and build out a team so you can have more bandwidth to handle this stuff. So, I would say some of the best places to go to find those people, it's where people find you. It depends. It's going to depend on what it is you do. I like to peruse Instagram and find people that I think I would like to work with, creatives that I think I would want to subcontract. Behance is another good place to find creative professionals. Upwork, obviously, is a good place to find folks. Fiverr, those places. But yeah, like always, like just spend an hour a week, kind of like, perusing, just like taking a look at what, what's out there, what's available to you. And then from there, you reach out to them and you say, "Did you get trail mix and not bring me any?"
Sorry. You were talking.
That's
Am I too loud?
That's saying something. You reach out to those people and say, "Hey, what would it take to work together on something? I want to find an excuse to work with you on this." And just want to get a sense of, what your process is and how much time you would need on a project and budget and all that stuff. So you can kind of create a list of people at different budgets and different schedules to know who to slot in for a project. So yeah, that's what I would say. All right, let's see TikTok. What's a new question on TikTok? All right, this is from Neo Lamperouge. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. said, hey, Jamie, what do you think makes clients stay with you long term? I love that we're talking about this because this is the most important part of the whole thing. It's like what a waste if you're going to all this trouble of finding a client and then not maximizing on that client and keeping them around for a long time. So you want to optimize for that. And I think first and foremost is you understand from the get-go you are not their freelancer, you are their strategic partner. It is, if they've brought you into the fold, if they've hired you and brought you into their company to solve a problem for them, like proceed as if you are their co-CEO and their success is your success, right? Everybody, I mean, nobody's going to begrudge you for that. If you're coming in and saying, okay, yes, we're doing this thing that you hired me for, but once you get in the room, you spot like these other four things that they're missing out on, you bring them up and you say, what, we can do these together. We can wait until after we finish this to do this, but you're leaving money on the table here. You're wasting time here. This is a risky play. I have a way to de-risk this for you. You just proceed as if you're their co-CEO and it's now your job to improve their business long term. So that's first and foremost probably what keeps my clients around for a while is I install myself as their strategic partner, not as their freelancer. So proceed accordingly. And then there are some like micro things that you can do with the project itself, like over delivering in the first 24 hours of a project and then doing it again in the last 24 hours because we remember the beginnings and ends of things as humans. So it's like, there's good data on the fact that most people lose a repeat client in the first week of the project, not in the last. So it's like you do something in that first week that's makes them think like, okay, I probably don't want to. I probably don't trust this person as much, or basically, here's a good way to approach this from a client's perspective. More often than not, if you can believe it, I know nobody here is contributing to this phenomenon, but they're suspicious of freelancers because a lot of freelancers will accept a deposit and then just disappear. It's happened to us a few times. We're a little better at spotting it before it happens and not, but Joe Schmo and in a corner office somewhere is maybe not as adept. So clients engaging with a freelancer is a risky business for them. And so, in that first 24 hours, it's a major opportunity for you to secure their trust and, kind of an emotional win if you can make them feel like they've knocked it out of the park by hiring you, So it's like, if in that first 24 hours you deliver something that was on the schedule for like 2 weeks from now, like even though you knew that was coming, like you knew, like you kind of manipulated the situation, like you knew that you were going to deliver this early and put it on the schedule intentionally for 2 weeks from now. But you still created that emotional moment for them where they go, okay, this person is supporting me in a way that I haven't seen a freelancer support me before. So right off the bat, you win that trust and then do it again at the end of the project. What's a way that you can plus the project in a way that they're not even considering right now, or they haven't even asked for, So little micro things like that. But I would say that it's considering yourself a strategic partner, a co-CEO from the start of the project, and moving forward, like post-project, you're coming to them with intel, with new ideas, and then little ways to make them feel special throughout that project, make them feel like you're really taking care of them. All right, let's go to YouTube for a question. Let's see. Oops. Come on, YouTube. Hang on. Trying to make this thing work. Okay, cool. Where were we on YouTube? We were at, I think it was an Alice's question. Okay, so we'll let's do a couple down here. Okay, this one I think I can make applicable to everyone. This question says, what's the best way to position yourself and find real estate professionals to offer social media management services? From Swahili on YouTube. So first off, here's the plan. I'm going to answer this question for their specific situation, but kind of branch it off into everybody's. The best way to position yourself to find real estate professionals and offer social media management services. Great that you have gone to the lengths of niching down here. First and foremost, positioning, you're going to want to not offer social media management services. You're going to want to offer 200 new warm leads a month, right? And you do that with social media management services. So I hope everybody got that message loud and clear. So many people don't realize the thing that they're actually selling. They think they're selling, like in Swahili's case, this person thinks that their real estate clients are purchasing social media management from them. That's not what they're purchasing from them. They're purchasing time saved so that they don't have to manage their own social media, and they're purchasing new leads for them to sell real estate to or to buy real estate from, right? So with your social media expertise. So that's how you want to position yourself, and do that with whatever your service is, whatever it is you do. Understand what they're actually handing you money for, right? It's either going to be more money, more time, or less risk. So figure out which one or two of those they're actually purchasing, and that's how you talk about your offer. So henceforth, you don't say, I'm a social media manager for real estate professionals. You say, I find real estate professionals 200 warm leads a month on social media. Done. Same service, you're just marketing yourself. You've positioned yourself correctly, right? So that would be probably the most important thing to do there. And then I guess the second part of this answer is, where do you go to say, this is what I do, right? So it's like, how do you get that well-positioned offer in front of real estate professionals? And the answer is, for most niches, the answer is going to be LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a huge asset for freelancers. And so many people shit on it when I say that. And I'm like, all right, well, stay off it then, more for us. But if you go to LinkedIn and buy the Sales Navigator subscription, it gives you access to, essentially, it's a search engine. It's to their back end where you can search all of the industries, all of your ideal clients, send connection requests, and start conversations with them. So that's the play, guys. It's as easy as that. So position yourself based on which return on investment you're actually providing, and then go, spread the good news on LinkedIn. Let's see here. Yeah, the McDonald's managing real estate thing instead of burgers. That's exactly it. And Starbucks is a bank, with their loyalty program. They're a bank. They're not a coffee shop. That's business. As you realize what you're actually selling. I'm seeing a lot of mention. I'm on TikTok now looking through the questions. I'm seeing a lot of mentions of like job markets, and we talked a little about that earlier. So I want to be, for the folks that have been here since the beginning, I don't want to waste their time, but the short answer is, if you should really only be counting on those platforms for 10% of your lead generation, and you should be building out your own lead generation engine using all the stuff that we've been talking about today. For that reason, exactly, is that they're playing middleman, and you don't have any say over what your actual reach is on those platforms. Let's see here. I want to find something that. Oh shit! Hang on. Okay. All right. I've seen a couple versions of this question, and I think it merits. We've kind of been attacking it from a few different angles, but forgive me if I butcher this name. Franku Marian says, I am in software. Is it a good idea to switch to optimizations and automation solutions? So this kind of ties back to the question about like recession-proof businesses, but it's a slightly different question, because what we're talking about here is evolutions in your niche, right? So the fundamental way to approach this answer, it harkens back to that sentence we said at the beginning of this live, which is that business is the exchange of money for solutions. You should always be finding new problems to solve for your niche, right? And so when there's a big market moment like this, where there's a huge new piece of technology like AI, or that makes automations a lot easier, then yeah, you've got to figure out how to work that into a monetizable solution for your niche, right? I mean, you don't have to, but somebody else will, and you're going to slowly start getting kind of pushed to the side in that industry. But the reason that I'm kind of approaching this answer cautiously is because what that doesn't mean is you have to chase down every trend. It's more about like, how do you integrate it into the solution that you've already made a killing on, or how do you integrate it into the solution that the painful problem that you're already solving? For example, we have a copywriter that helps us with our emails, right? And AI became a thing, and without asking, she created a GPT that's trained on hundreds of hours of my content, and top all the best performing posts, and emails that are performed outlier emails and all, so that we could start sending out 3 emails a week instead of 1, and keep them to our standards. The offer didn't change, but she used technology to make it more valuable, right? So I think that because she's still not, again, she's solving a specific problem for me. I don't care how she solves it, but she is solving a specific problem. And so that's what you would want to do for your clients, is like take the specific problem that you solve and figure out where automations play a part in that solution to make it even more deadly. Does that make sense? As opposed to like building out, here's my automations offer. It's something that's more like bespoke to the problem that you've already mastered. Okay. Let's see, we're going to YouTube for a question. I already talked about how to get started freelancing. So if you're one of the questions asking about just getting started or finding clients, go check out on YouTube. I have a video called 7 Days to Freelance or something like that. And it's literally like, it's like, do this on day 1, do this on day 2. And by the end of it, you'll have a pretty healthy freelance business. So I would point you to that video. Let's do Victor here. I set up my LinkedIn account. I don't know how to get a client on LinkedIn. Please do a brief explanation on getting a client on LinkedIn. This is a great question because this is actually a coaching product that we built out this year that I really enjoy doing. We don't really talk about it because we can't really scale it because it's just me on a phone building this out for people. So I only do like 4 of them a month. If you're interested in that, send me a DM on LinkedIn and I'll get you on the calendar. But I can tell you all how to do it here and now. Get really specific on what project or what problem you solve for whom. We've talked about that a significant amount today. Go on to Sales Navigator. It's a product that LinkedIn sells. It's like sometimes they run promos. It's anywhere between $80 and $100 a month. Trust me, it's worth it. If you land just one client from this, it's worth it. Create a saved search that take notes on this, guys. This is legit. Like I'm literally telling you exactly how to do this. This is something we charge a lot of money for me to do on a one-on-one. Create a saved search on Sales Navigator that targets that specific audience, the people that urgently need the solution to the problem you solve. And title that send connection request, that search. And then each week, open up that saved search and send 200 connection requests, right? 200, that's how many LinkedIn allows you to send. And don't add a note to the connection request, just blankly send the request. You'll get more accepts than if you added a note, which is great news because adding a note would take forever for 200. So send out 200 connection requests and add those people to a lead list called connection request sent. So as you're doing this, you're adding them to the sent lead list. Then as they accept your connection requests, you can run a second search to send these people DMs. And that search, this is why I told you to write this down because it gets a little complicated. That search, call that save search B, send first message. And that search would be for first degree connections, meaning they have accepted your request, that aren't on the, or first degree connections that are on that lead list. So that means that those are people that have, from that lead list, that have accepted your request. And go and send each of those people a DM. Send each of them a conversation starter. A piece of value that demonstrates kind of the inside baseball knowledge that you have on this, subject matter, on the problem that you solve. If you have a 25% accept rate, and you're sending out 200 a week, then you have 200 leads at the end of the month. 200 leads of potential people that could hire you. So hopefully that illustrates how powerful that strategy is and how powerful LinkedIn is. And let's end it there. I wanted to do 45 minutes. It looks like we went a little bit over, but that's a great spot to end it. If I didn't get to your question and it's something that you really want to get the answer to, LinkedIn is the best place to DM me. So go connect with me over on LinkedIn and send me a message there. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next live. I don't think I'm going to post these anywhere. So if you want to see more of these, just make sure you have notifications turned on so you'll be notified next time I go live. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. I appreciate you hanging out for a little bit. All right, take care. Let's turn TikTok off first. There we go. And then YouTube. I'll see you guys later.